Well guys, I was going to make another video, but the sun broke this story, so I thought I'd better cover it first. As most of you might know by now, Matt Hancock is being called out for belt feeding some married trouties pork sword, so I could hardly ignore it, could I? I mean, he's taken the government's eat out to help out policy to a whole new level, I think you would agree. Now, as you know, this certified snivelling shitweasel has been sending this country down the pan alongside his mate Boris the Green Commie Johnson. Their lunacy over the past year has caused irreversible damage to this country and the people in it, with more damage yet to come if this past year is anything to go by. Of course, Matt's been called out a few times for his endless fuck-ups, posturing and just general shitweasel behaviour. In fact, the public's losing trust in this government and their actions, which this will only exacerbate even when he resigns. Of course, this is good news for us, but not so much for Matt Hancock as you would expect. Now, as I said, the Sun have reported an exclusive story about Matt Hancock belt feeding his top aide a bit of the beef bayonet. Not only that, but getting it on with her in the Department of Health headquarters, with most of the office staff knowing he's cheating on his wife with an aide who's also married. Yep, both married with kids, doing their part to help stop the spread they keep banging on about daily. They tell you Anne's face space while he's got his tongue down her throat or possibly in her clam. Who knows where he's sticking it at this point. But essentially, she's spending time with Matt, cleaning his pipe, taking his little pecker inside her snatch before she goes home to her husband and her kids. Much like him, she sounds like a lovely person if you ask me. In fact, they clearly suit each other down to the ground. Now naturally, Matt the Prat has so far avoided talking to the media, with only Grant Sharp saying this is a private matter, which might be true had he not employed her at our expense. Yes, she's on some voluntary deal, but at the end of the day, she still claims expenses and has cost us something like 20 grand already. Apparently though, Matt Hancock has been married for 15 years to the wife that he has now cheated on, who might have actually found out what he's been up to the same way as we all have, which is obviously not good for her. But if you ask me, questions need to be asked about why the hell she got with such a septic spot on the arse of humanity in the first place. Surely a limp-dick dog would be a better choice than this soy-infused fuckpig if you ask me, and to be honest I think his actions might well have proved me right here. But another thing I find myself wondering is how many other trouts has Hancock gone balls deep on behind his wife's back over the years, and in fact how the fuck did he manage to do it with this bird Gina that we're talking about here? Now obviously it don't look good cheating on your wife in general, but doing it with a person you hired using public money makes this a complete and utter shit show. I would say the chances he gets the boot have just increased 100 times overnight, but obviously that doesn't mean he'll necessarily be gone right now. The incompetence shown all round this government over the past year or so means he could well be promoted within another 6 months. I mean, everything they've done in the last year, they've ballsed up beyond belief, contradicted themselves on and shown blatant hypocrisy at literally every turn, while also funneling money into their mates' pockets it would seem. I mean, you only need to look at the G7, the football, F1 and all that bollocks there to see what a bunch of cunts these people are trying to take us for. Now, this millionaire aide that he's hired and started ploughing with his pork sword is, like I said, a married mother, which reminds me of Professor Lockdown piping some other dude's missus not long ago. Or the fact John Burkhart's wife had been getting belt-fed sausage by his cousin to the point he literally moved in the house with his wife and kids. It seems cheating on your wife or husband is standard procedure for these low-life fuckpigs in politics, as you know. And shit, let's not forget the SNP's tosspots have also been called out for groping up their aides in the past couple of months. No wonder this country's going to shit when they lack even the basic morals in relation to those that they claim they love. Now clearly, by the pictures we have of Hancock cheating and in with his wife, we can see he loves a bit of arsehole. He can be seen grabbing up his bit on the side's arse, while also earlier this month having a good grab on his wife's. But away from all that, and maybe more concerning, is the links that this woman has as a director of a company that has, in the words of the Sun, become a poster boy for the government lately. The Sun goes on, then there's her appointment as a non-executive director of DHCS, which appears in just one place publicly, her LinkedIn page. The role makes her responsible for overseeing and monitoring performance, in effect scrutinising matters of concern to Hancock. It goes on and says her role doesn't break any rules because there are literally none. Ministers, in other words, are free to create a process or, as Hancock has apparently done, reward their closest friends with their roles. I think you'll find she's a little bit more than his friend at this point. Hancock is one of the most powerful officials in government and a member of the quad of cabinet ministers who determine COVID-19 policy that is obviously broken with the bullshit he's doing here. And it finishes up here, some even credit him with persuading the PM to return to a second lockdown. Well, we know he was part of the lockdown bounce along with Whitty and Valance, but the fact he got his married cumbucket to oversee performance at the Department of Health and Social Care is just shocking. I mean, maybe she was there trying to cover his ass when things went tits up. Being in a personal relationship with her certainly suggests it's possible. Either way though, this thing here is a complete and utter shit show for Matt Hancock, as you know. If he carries on in his position, it will be kind of laughable, but like I said, not really surprising at this point. And maybe we shouldn't forget the fact that anyone else they get in for this position is probably just going to be as much as a scumbag as this snivelling shitweasel is here. While it's good to see him getting shit all over, I don't think it's going to help us that much at the end of the day. Now guys, before I go, remember to check out my website and BitChute and Odyssey channels that are linked down below as always. They are the best way to contact me and keep up with my videos if YouTube ever shit-can me into the wrong thing gulag.